Okay, looks like we are live. Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to our 2026 candidate presentations for the Anime Twin Cities election. And so there's very little intro for me to do here. If you check the description, there is a form that you can fill out during this meeting to ask the candidates a question, which we will do all of the audience questions at the end after we do the board questions. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is have each candidate give their 2 to 3 minute presentation, and we are going to go ahead and start with Jeanette.
Oh, thanks. Well, my name is Jeanette Wallen. I've been a member of the ATC current board for 2 years as treasurer. I have also staffed the Anime Detour, the annual convention, since 2012. My platform is basically to continue to help support and continue the anime community, uh, outreach. Sorry, didn't have this written down. To kind of like continue to improve and to attract more members and widen the community. I also like to create a welcoming and inclusive environment within the community with our events. So I guess that's all I can think of right now.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I'm going to go down and pick Echo.
Hello, my name is David Echo O'Donnell. Echo is my actual name. Um, I have been running many events myself through my own organization for many, many years, PokeCon. But I originally started as Anime Detour staff back in 2010, 11, around there, before leaving to do my own events. And then coming back a couple years ago to take over room parties with Jeanette. Um, and I've really enjoyed the direction that Detour has been moving the last few years. And when the opportunity to join the board came up, I was very interested in trying to help move it forward and do more community related events and such.
Okay. The next on my list, I have Denon.
Hello, I'm Denon. My pronouns are he, him, and I've been going to Detour since about 2009. I've been staffing since ever since we joined the Hyatt. And I started in volunteers, and then I have dabbled in accessibility and game committee, and now I'm the Volcon head. I have been wanting to get more involved in the running running things, basically, because I really cherish Detour and the events that ATC puts on. I have always felt like it has a certain kind of magic, and I really just kind of want to make sure that it continues to grow and that other people get to experience that in the future.
Thank you. Then we're going to go ahead and go with Josh.
Hi, I was with merchandise for the last 15 years, and I was always been kind of content to just do my little corner and let everyone else, manage their piece. But as the opening was going unfilled, I figured this is a good sign for me to step in and contribute a little extra to the back end of things and see where we can go with that. So.
Okay. So then what we're gonna do next is the board is gonna take turns asking questions, and we're just gonna pick whose order to answer them in. So I'm gonna read the question once and then pick a person to answer it, and then pick the next person to answer it. If you need me to repeat the question, just let me know. But hopefully I only have to read it one time instead of 5 times or 4 times. So the person that will be going first, just so they know, is going to be Echo. And the question is, what experience do you have in planning and executing events, and how would you leverage this experience to enhance Anime Twin Cities events and activities?
I have been hosting my own events for a decade and a half. Everything from blood drives, picnics, Make-A-Wish, trunk or treats, launch parties, and so many more things besides that. I would love to actually help do more community outreach and events using the experience that I've gained over these years.
Okay, then next up is Denon.
I have a I've been regularly volunteering since childhood to now. I also have a history since as young as a teenager running cosplay groups, popular panels, photo shoots, and community events, both in and out of the anime community. I have education and professional experience in project management, before and after school programming, and I want to find more ways to reach people in the community who might not be able to attend large events like conventions for one reason or another, particularly low cost or free events that have engaging, creative, and hands on activities that showcase Japanese culture.
Then next I have Josh.
Well, with my National Guard experience, that's pretty much all I do as an officer is plan events and training activities. So that involves a lot of risk management and safety precautions and making sure things are done properly in the right way that no one gets hurt, nothing, no one gets in trouble. So I think I can provide some sort of structure and refinement to the process, hopefully.
And then finally, Jeanette.
Hello. So I've been involved with my professional society. I've helped to plan educational events, 2 of them per year for the last 4 years as a board member. And so basically that experience is basically using advertisement, whether through your social networking. We use the vendors that we invite to our events to also bring brochure or flyers typically to their clients to kind of advertise. We normally have virtual and in-person attendees. So I think part of that is what I hope to, bring more advertisement to the anime community in our events, and then hopefully create more outreach community events, not necessarily always anime, but just things to do outside of the convention. So, thank you.
Okay, so then the second question is going to be read and moderated by Kevin.
Okay, I'm gonna pick Denon to go first for this one. What new initiatives or programs would you propose to drive the growth of Anime Twin Cities and attract new members and attendees to our events?
I'd like to make I'd like to update the websites for ATC and Anime Detour to have more updated summaries on how what goes on at these events and the kinds of information like the bylaws so that people can get more involved like we are right now. I think a lot of people really do want to get more involved and don't generally know where to start. I'd like to have more of a social media role as well, making things like video shorts with audio and subtitles, um, fun little infographics like how many people come to the conventions and events, things like that.
Okay. Next one up is Josh.
I think as long as I've been doing this, ATC has kind of just again been this little background thing that unless you are in the weeds of it, most people don't know. So I think it'd be good to put together either some sort of simple explainer videos or infographics or other things that can just, hey, here's what unfortunately our short attention span can handle, and here's what we can do, and here's how you can, be a part of it, and just kind of keeping things up to date with that simple type of information.
Okay. Jeanette.
Well, I would like to see the activities that are like community-based, attendee-based. You don't have to have attended an event, but just, throwing on our ATC hat or throwing on our Anime Detour. But at events like the drive-in movie or the like visits to the zoo or, game night, something like that. One of the things I had written down was that at my national convention, there's like a first-timer event, so it's a more intimate kind of setting for first timers. I didn't know if there's a way to create kind of like a guidebook or maybe frequently asked questions for first timers. I think that's we've had also like a mentor mentee or at least veteran attendees that are willing to mentor maybe a newbie that comes to a large convention like ours. So I know those kind of onboarding or type of just kind of introducing first timers so that if they don't have a friend with them, that maybe they can participate more fully at the large events in those large venues.
Okay, thank you. Echo.
Well, they've already said a lot of similar things that I would like to see, but big one for me is that Anime Detour and Anime Twin Cities used to do a lot more community outreach and social events, picnics, and other such things. And at least since COVID, the number of those events has declined significantly. And I would like to see a lot more of that kind of stuff honestly, in addition to what they also said as well.
Thank you.
Next question is going to be read and moderated by Lori.
Hello. And the person who's going to go first on this so they can start the gig right away is Josh. And the question is, are you familiar with the Anime Twin Cities bylaws? And are there any bylaws that you think could be improved?
Well, simple answer is I'm not familiar with them, but I do think a simple way that we can improve any system like this where it has people coming and going regularly is just an actual thorough audit, kind of going through and making sure that things are still up to date, making sure that things are actually make sense with the modern situation, and if there's anything that needs to be modified from there.
All right. Thank you for that answer. We will now move on to Jeanette.
I'm fairly familiar with the current bylaws. I think there's a revision in the bylaws that say that the officer term currently is 1 year. I believe it's 2 years, so I think that's something that just needs to be consistent with what is advertised as the position. I've reviewed bylaws for my professional society, and I believe that ATC is becoming closer to like the more professional, consistent bylaws that I've seen out there with other boards that I've served on. So otherwise they look good.
All right, thank you. And next on to Echo.
I have read through the bylaws and dug through basically everything on the ATC website. The bylaws themselves, I don't see anything in particular that I think needs to be changed or updated currently. That could change in the future. But the big one for me is actually something that Denon already brought up. The website severely needs an overhaul. And I saw some policies and other documentation that was on there that seems to have been last updated over a decade and a half ago or 2 decades ago that might need some, you know, looking through and or updating just outright. Um, but otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of.
All right, thank you for your answer. And now on to Denon.
I am familiar with the bylaws. I don't have them memorized to heart, but the bullet points that I have is some clarification on what coordinators are. I didn't see a specific list of what they are in the bylaws, or at least not in the amended 2025 one. And clarification on who can fill in for what roles. There's a there is a statement about what I can't remember which one of who can fill in for one of the roles, but not for some of the other ones. And then just a definition, like a list of definition of certain terms would be good.
All right, thank you for your answer.
Okay, and just a
All right.
point of clarification really quick, in case someone watches this later. Director terms are 2 years, officer terms are 1 year, because we re-pick them every year, and that's why it's confusing. That's all. Then Nick is going to be reading the next question.
All right. For the next question, I'll have Jeanette go first. But the question is, what is the role of the ATC Board of Directors, and how are we partnered with our community events like Anime Detour?
Well, I see that for me, that I see that the ATC Board of Directors oversees the charitable giving, which is part of the ATC mission statement. And so it's also, I believe it provides guidance with the charity selections that are done during the Anime Detour cycle. And then a lot of the ATC board also provides leadership and support during the actual annual convention. I think some of us wear multiple hats, but I believe that we are elected to kind of oversee the budgetary and the charitable giving that our nonprofit, selects.
All right. Thank you. Next up, we have Echo.
I assume it's ATC board is there to help set the tone and direction for community events and oversight for the convention and other things that the board might want to do in the future as well. That's pretty much the gist of it, other than, like Jeanette had already said, wearing multiple hats and also, managing a lot more stuff at con, but the at con stuff is kind of separate.
All right. Thank you. Next, we have Denon.
The role of the ATC Board of Directors is responsible for overseeing the organization's affairs, ensuring it fulfills its mission of conducting educational, charitable, and social activities related to Japanese culture and animation, fiduciary duties, and complying with legal and ethical standards. ATC also puts on Anime Detour to raise funds for charitable donations to contribute to various charities, scholarships, and artists. There's other ventures underway according to the ATC focus document on the website, such as a membership to I can't remember there's a organization for Japanese stuff. I can't remember. I'm sorry. And then also the coordinators are planning something with educational programming in libraries.
All right. Thank you. And last, we have Josh.
Again, since I didn't know too much, I did also do some research and digging onto the site, and also noticed some things from 2019 and such that need to be updated. But from what I could gather, the board itself is, and ATC as a whole is meant to be kind of that buffer between Detour as an event or any other little events that happen, and keeping it as in line with being the nonprofit, making sure that we have our left and right limits, as we use that term for military, making sure we're within those guidelines, and then also coordinating anything that's outside of on purview. So whether that's interacting with other cons, or putting on these winter or summer events, just making sure that it's all handled by someone that, someone has that responsibility.
All right. Thanks, everyone. And then we have Christina with the last board question.
Okay, and Echo will be going first on this one. As a board member, how would you address a situation where you disagree with a board decision, particularly when other members challenge your position on the issue? Please explain your approach in terms of interactions with both fellow board members and the public.
I believe that the best way to manage disagreement is to have proper communications, especially when it comes to any sort of events or organizations. Not everybody's going to agree with you or think that the way that you want to do things is the correct way to do things. And honestly, I don't want somebody to always agree with me. I want people to challenge and have difference of opinions, because that's how you work together to find a solution that works for everybody. But the best way to manage that is to actually communicate and talk about things. I actually say a lot to people when they try to figure out ways to stop drama and arguments, that the best way is to address those situations directly, because small misgrievance that you may have here or there adds up and becomes something significantly more big than it originally should have been if you would have just talked about it from the beginning. And while working on the board, I might not agree with things that might happen, and I train just completely crashed. Let me go back to my notes. I may not always completely agree on the way things may happen, but as long as we can all come to an amicable, decision together, that is a good way to proceed forward. However, God, again, I just lost my note. I'm sorry. Could you repeat the last part of that question for me?
Yeah, so please explain your approach in terms of interactions with both fellow board members and the public.
Okay, I think we kind of went over most of that, but generally I keep disagreements out of the public, because we should discuss, those behind, not bring it into the open. But
So like towards the public, you would want to present a united front and deal with
yes,
disagreements.
exactly. Yeah, I completely lost my train of thought on what I was going there, but I'm pretty sure I said what I was trying to say. I'm sorry if it
Okay.
came off a little
No, you're
rambly.
good. You're good. That's fine. None of us are professional speakers. At least I don't think any of us are. I certainly am not. I've gotten
Certainly
a
not.
lot of
Yeah.
practice. Yeah. Then next I have Jeanette.
Oh, okay. So I guess I kind of wrote it down as, as a board member, I would look at the scenario of working as a workplace coworker too. So like I prefer making informed decisions with the information that's available. And if I don't have enough information, I'm going to ask questions until I'm going to keep asking why, until I can make a better decision. I think part of, being a board member, we're representing a larger organization. So I would hope that, we're not going to, have some brawl on public, forum. The whole idea that I would think that you'd work and communicate and, figure out a similar train of thought or what we're all trying to say. I think there's different people whose viewpoints can help. Like, some people are better wordsmiths than others, and that's sometimes what you need to find that united front of how to say things in a more professional way. So I think that's where I would kind of approach like other members and the public is to try to find that a more, I guess, civilized way of saying things. Obviously, we don't want to alienate people. I mean, we're trying to create a welcoming environment. And so, there's obviously going to be some type of disagreements or different viewpoints, but I would hope that we can all come to an understanding, everyone, not just the board, but, general public, everybody. So.
Okay. Thank you. And sorry, I did mess up the order. It's okay. We'll be fine. So then we'll have Denon go next.
Having more than one point of view is a big part of having a board of directors in the first place. It's important to first listen to everyone's input and find common ground, then have respectful discussions. There may be something eye-opening that changes the direction that things go in altogether. If needed, take a break, come back with a fresh mind to address any issues. Sometimes things can get heated if it's a particularly sensitive issue or something that, obviously we dealt with some. I didn't personally, but there were legal matters that ended up kind of being brought up not too long ago in the history. Um, things did get heated. So there's definitely better ways to handle that. And um, I think that being honest and genuine to each other and being respectful of each other is really the first thing that should be on everyone's minds, is that none of us are getting paid to do this. So we're doing this out of genuine love for this project. And we're all working towards the same goal, even if we have different ideas of what we want to do and how we want to get there. But we all want to do this for the same reasons, and we should do it together, not try and tear each other down. If we have some kind of disagreement, we can figure this out together. Yeah.
Wonderful. And then finally, Josh.
I think first, to contrast leadership styles at Con, it makes sense to have that centralized chairperson because you have a limited time, limited reaction, and you want to keep things streamlined. Whereas for board, when we have to make decisions, make up, you take your case, you put out your facts, your viewpoints, your opinions, and you have a chance to discuss. And then whether it's majority or it's split, you take that decision and you move on. It's the same as with the board or with the public. It's kind of like was mentioned before, a united front. It was discussed. This is where we're at. This is how it is. Next item.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. So that is the conclusion of the board questions. Hope has been in charge of moderating any user question, or not users, member questions that have come in. Have we gotten any member questions, Hope?
Aside from what is your favorite color, no, we have not had any.
And I put that
Purple.
question in, and I want you all to answer it.
Orange. Of course, it's
Okay.
orange.
Oh, orange is a good one though.
Mhm.
My car is orange. Oh wait, that's not my car. I don't know where it is. It's out there somewhere.
Jeanette, what's your favorite color?
Green.
Green. Echo.
I'd have to say blue.
Blue. I'm team purple. Okay, well, then we have completed our task of posting the candidate presentation. The elections will start tomorrow after the annual meeting and be open for 24 hours. So we'll either have the announcement of the winners Wednesday night or Thursday morning. And thank you everyone for joining us. You can stop the stream, Kevin.